Good morning to all. Today we are going to deal with the topic types of legal research from the subject legal research methodology and myself N.Umamaheswari, Assistant Professor of Law, Bharat Institute of Law, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. Research means re plus search. Re means again and again. Search means to find out something. Research in common man's language refers to search for knowledge. Research, on the other hand, is derived from a French word research means to search and the Latin word cercare means to go around in a circle. In research, the R denotes rational way of thinking, E denotes expert and exhaustive treatment, S for search for solution, E for A denotes analytical analysis of adequate data, R denotes relationship between facts and theories, C on the other hand denotes constructive attitude, critical observation, contents and compactly stated generalization, creations and careful recording. H denotes honesty and hard work in all aspects of the treatment of data. Research is a creative process and includes investigation or inquiry, discovery or invention or experimentation to find out the truth with evidence contained in the product. The process of research displays its product and vice versa. Research is an objective, academic, yet systematic and scientific enlightenment of the facts and principles, concepts and theory based on original and first-hand study and includes verification of old facts too. Objective of research. Research is a systemized efforts to gain knowledge. The primary objective of research is to find solution for problems in a methodological and systematic way. It is defined as an academic activity that involves identifying a research problem, formulating a hypothesis, collecting and analyzing the data, reaching specific conclusion in the form of solution or general theories. The characteristics of research are following are the characteristics of research. Research is a creative process and it includes investigation or inquiry, discovery or invention or experimentation to find out truth with evidence contained in the product. The process of research displays its product and vice versa. Research is an objective, academic, yet systematic and scientific enlightenment of the facts and principles, concepts and theories based on original and first-hand studying and includes verification of old facts too. Research into any problem is not the end of it, but it is the beginning of new search which always raises a new question. Research is one of our urges to know and thus it leads to creating our curiosity endlessly of knowing everything which we came across. Research is a direct method to the solution of the problem. Research is used to find out the relationship between two or more variables. It gathers new knowledge and sometimes it replaces the old knowledge. It is categorized by carefully designated procedure. It is used to predict future occurrence. It is systematic and expert, exact and accurate investigation. It is logical and objective. It is free from opinion and it needs empirical evidence for testing of hypothesis and therefore it involves formulation of hypothesis. Conclusion and generalizations should be carefully and cautiously recorded and reported. Research is based on hypothesis and insight. Research is a search for knowledge. It is rediscovery existing knowledge and it adds for the existing fund of knowledge of theory. Knowledge enables man to understand, explain, control and hence cope with any situation. This means the human mind will always search for knowledge. It is universal and true yesterday, today and tomorrow. It endures to record data in quantitative terms. It leads to decision-making actions. It improves the level of living in society. Legal research leads to progress in various fields of life. Socio-legal research. Law is an instrument of social change. It originates and functions in a society. Law is an important variable in any social investigation. Law and society are the two sides of coin. Factors leading to socio-legal research are curiosity about unknown. The search for cause and effect relationship is the main incentive for doing a legal research. Human beings often face many acute and difficult socio-legal problems. An ordinary person reacts emotionally to this, but a researcher tries to test the effectiveness of existing law by undertaking research. So what are the characteristics of legal research? The legal research deals with the social and behavioral phenomena. It studies behavior of human beings as a member of the society and their feelings, responses, attitudes under different circumstances. Legal research is carried on both for discovering new legal facts and verifying the old one. Legal research tries to establish causal connections between various human activities. A close research discloses the truth that most of the human behavior are motivated by definite rules and universal laws. Sources of information in legal research. Primary sources. The sources that contain authoritative records of law made by law making borders is a primary source. They can be legislation, rules, regulations, orders, bylaws by delegated authorities and the authoritative decisions of the courts. A secondary source of information in a legal research are the ones that refer and relate to the law while not being themselves the primary sources. For example, legal commentaries, abstracts, dictionaries, encyclopedias, and index. Nature and scope of legal research. Legal research is a search for authority to verify some hypothesis and it is a continuum. It issues of inquiry naturally relates to pure law or law in relation to society. Legal research is the process of identifying and retrieving information necessary to support legal judgments. In broader sense, legal research includes each step of a course of action that begins with an analysis of facts of problem and concludes with the application and communications of the results of the investigation. The nature of legal issues and the subject matter of law is different from other scientific research. Legal phenomena requires various methods of research. Legal research can be performed by anyone with a need for legal knowledge and information. Law reform agencies can use various methods and tools to reform law, and research is one of the tools for any project for law reform. Legal research tries to give solution to legal problems. The objectives of legal research. The object of legal research may be classified into two parts: academic objective, utilitarian objective. The academic purpose of legal research is for the acquisition of knowledge. According to P.V. Young, the primary goal of research is to understand the social life and thereby gain a greater measure of control over social behavior. Objective of legal research: to gain familiarity with the legal phenomena, to discover new facts, to test and verify old facts, to analyze the facts into a new theoretical framework, to analyze the consequence of new facts, to develop new legal research tools, to develop new legal concepts, to evaluate law from the historical perspective, to explain nature and scope of the law, to disguise the weakness or merits of the old legal concepts and aspects, to analyze the effect of new legal system or law on the society, to predict the consequence of new act, to interpret the acts in a critical way, to collect the legal facts of a particular area, and to test the hypothesis of a cause-effect relationship. To develop new legal research tools or apply tools of other disciplines in the area of law, to profound a new legal concept, to analyze the law and legal institutions from the point of view of the history, to examine the nature and scope of the new law or legal institutions, to ascertain the merits and demerits of all law or institution and to give suggestions for a new law, to ascertain the relationship between legislature and judiciary and to give suggestions as to how one can assist the other in the discharge of duties, to develop the principle of interpretation for critical examination of statutes. Why legal research is carried out: to ascertain laws on a given topic or subject, to identify the gap and the ambiguities in law, to critically examine consistency, coherence, and stability of law and legal proportions, to undertake social auditing of law, that is, auditing pre-legislative forces and post-legislative impacts of law, to suggest reforms, developments in law by undertaking research intended to investigate the gap between legal ideas and actual practice, to understand effectiveness or impact of law in a given social setup at a given time, to find out as to whether law is serving the needs of the society and has a social value, to make suggestions for improvements in the law on concrete formulations and proposals, to predict future trends of law. Significance of legal research. Law is the most important instrument of social change. The significance of this research is based on justice, equity, good conscience. It helps the government in formulating suitable laws to pursue its economic and social policies. It helps in solving the various operational and planning problems related to the business industry and tax. It helps the courts in solving issues. It helps the legal practitioner in taking a suggestion as to how he should tackle the problem in hand. It brings legal awareness in society. Types of legal research. Descriptive research. It involves survey and fact-finding inquiries of a different kind. The major purpose of this research is a description of the data of affairs as it exists at present. It describes the state of affairs as it exists at present and describes the phenomena or situation under the study and its characteristics. It also reports only what has happened or what is happening. It does not go into the cause of the phenomena or the situation. The methods used are comparative and correlation methods and fact-finding inquiries of different kinds. It does not use for creating a causal relationship between variables. In social science and business research, we often use the term ex post facto research. It includes an attempt by the researchers to discover causes even when they can't control the variable. For description research studies, the examples are frequency of shopping, preference of the people, etc. While analytical research, on the other hand, involves that the researcher must use facts or data already accessible and analyze these to form a vital analysis of the fabric. Researchers uses his facts or information already available and make their analysis to make a critical evaluation of the material. Applied versus fundamental research. Applied research aims at finding a solution for an immediate problem facing a society or a business organization. The aim of this research is to discover solution for a practical problem. In this research, certain conclusion is being drawn. Research to identify social, economical, or political trends that may affect particular institutions or marketing research or evaluation research is an example of applied research. On the other hand, the applied research in simple terms can be a finding solution for an immediate problem in a practical context, the research carried out with a view to solving a problem. While fundamental research is concerned with generalization and with the formulation of a theory, the method as carried out in this research is to increase the knowledge in the field of its inquiry. It is least bothered about its practical context and utility. Research studies concerning human behavior is carried on with a view to making generalization about human behaviors fall in this type of category. While fundamental research is mainly concerned with generalization, with the formulation of a theory, this can be also termed as basic research and is directed towards finding information that has a broad base of application and thus sold to already existing organized body of scientific knowledge. Qualitative research, it is concerned with qualitative phenomena that is related to or involving quality or kind. It aims at discovering the underlying motives and desires using an in-depth interview for the purpose. It is also called attitude or opinion research. It's designed to find out how people think, what they think about a particular subject. It is used to gain an understanding, reasons, opinion, and motivations. Qualitative data methods vary using unstructured techniques. Common methods involved and included in this are focus group, individual interviews, and observations. Quantitative legal research is a characteristic of descriptive legal research methodology that attempts to collect quantifiable information to be used for statistical analysis of the population sample. It is a popular research tool that allows us to collect and describe the nature of demographic segments. It collects information from existing and potential data using sampling methods like online surveys, online polls, questionnaires, etc. The result of which can be depicted in numerical form. After careful understanding of these numbers, it is possible to predict the future and make changes to the managed situation. In legal research is a subjective form of research that relies on the analysis of controlled observation of the legal researcher. In qualitative research, data is obtained from a relatively small group of subjects. Data is not analyzed with statistical techniques. Usually, narrative data is collected in qualitative research. In qualitative research can be adapted as a method to studying people or systems by interacting with and observing the subjects regularly. The various methods used for collecting data in qualitative research are grounded theory practice, narratology, storytelling, and ethnographic. Grounded theory practice. It is a research grounded in observation or data from which it was developed. Various data sources used in grounded theory are quantitative data, review of records, interviews, observations, and surveys. Narratology. It refers to the theory and study of narrative and narrative structure. It also shows the way in which the result affects the researcher's perceptions. Storytelling. This is a method by which events are recounted in the form of a story. The method is generally used in the field of organization and management studies. Ethnography is used for investigating cultures by collecting and describing data intended to help the development of a theory. Conceptual research. In this methodology, wherein the research is conducted by observing and analyzing already present information on a given topic. No practical experiment is carried out. It is related to abstract concepts or ideas. It is used to develop new concepts or reinterpret the existing concepts. It is the research related to some abstract ideas or theory. It generally used by the philosophers and thinkers to develop new concepts or interpret existing one. Empirical research, it rules on experience or observation alone, after without due regards for the system and theory. It is data-based research coming up with conclusions and is capable of being verified by observation or experience. It can also be called as an experimental type of research. In this research, it is necessary to get at the facts firsthand and actively to about doing certain things to stimulate the production of desired information. The difference between conceptual and empirical research are conceptual, it is related to some abstract ideas, theories. In empirical research, it relies on the experience or observation alone, often without due regard for system or theory. Conceptual research used generally by philosophers or thinkers. Empirical research, on the other hand, it is a data-based research coming up with conclusions that are capable of being verified by observation or experiment. Conceptual research is used to develop new concepts or to reinterpret the existing one. Empirical research are used to formulate hypotheses and then tries to prove or disprove his hypothesis. Doctrinal legal research. Doctrinal is also known as traditional or non-empirical legal research. Research based on analysis of case law, statutes by applying logic and reasoning power is doctrinal research. According to Essence Jain, doctrinal research involves analysis of case law, arranging, ordering, and systematizing legal propositions and study of legal institutions through legal reasoning or rational deductions. If it is found to be unjust, it may be modified or changed to meet the present requirement. This kind of research is carried on by all the judges, lawyers, and law teachers. Characteristics of doctrinal research: propositions-based study, conventional legal theory, and court decisions reports are the sources for doctrinal research. It studies the law as it exists in the existing form. Advantage of doctrinal research are it provides the researchers necessary tools in the form of conventional legal theories and reported decisions to reach their designation within a limited time frame. Ultravirus and many other concepts can be improved only by doctrinal research. Doctrinal research provides appropriate guidance when the questions related to the following of course by law is raised. Defects of doctrinal research: overemphasis on appellate court decisions. If the researcher fails to take into account the references and the context of the legislation, precedent, and customs, his work may not be worth of laying down any general proportions. Lack of social factors will make his study incomplete as one has to relate the law with the society. A doctrinal researcher faces difficulties in giving concrete shape to his work because too many presumptions may be drawn from the material at his disposal. The empirical research is carried on by collecting or gathering information by first-hand study of the subject. It relies on experience or observation without due regard to any theory or system, and hence it is also called as experimental type of research. In this type of research, the researcher attempts to investigate effect or impact by actual examination or observation of the functioning of law and the legal institution in the society. In legal field, non-doctrinal research is also known as socio-legal research. Conducting empirical research in law is of recent origin. Empirical means relying solely on observation and experiments and not on theory. The empirical research is carried out by collection and gathering of data or information relating to a universe. Characteristics of empirical or non-doctrinal research: it tries to find out the impact of non-legal events upon the legal decision process. It seeks to identify and appraise the degree of variables which influences the outcome and legal decision making. It tries to find out the effect of each decision on people and society as such. It lays different and lesser emphasis on doctrine. It seeks answers to broader and more numerous questions. It may involve the use of research perspective, research design, conceptual framework, skills, and training not peculiar to low-trained personnel. Sources of non-doctrinal research are questionnaire, interview, observation, focus group decision. Features of non-doctrinal research: it lays a different and lesser emphasis upon doctrine. It seeks to answer broader and more numerous questions. It is not anchored exclusively to the appellate reports and other traditional legal resources for its data, and it may involve the use of research perspectives, research designs, conceptual frameworks, skills, and training not peculiar to law-trained personnel. Demerits of empirical research or non-doctrinal research: it is time-consuming and costly. It calls for additional training, great commitment of time and energy for producing a meaningful research. It needs a strong base of doctrinal research. It is extremely weak in solving a problem in hand. It cannot give a direction as to what course the law should follow to be useful. It cannot remain unaffected from human vices, upbringing, and thinking because acceptance of a new system of law in India depends on many factors such as awareness, value, capability, and pattern of adaptation. Difference between doctrinal research and non-doctrinal research. Doctrinal research emphasis upon legal principles. On the other hand, non-doctrinal research lesser emphasis upon doctrines. It uses traditional source of information. Non-doctrinal research uses not solely depend on the traditional or conventional source of data. Doctrinal research users any law-trained person can do doctrinal research, but in non-doctrinal research, it involves particular skill, conceptual framework, and knowledge of other disciplines. Doctrinal research, on the other hand, the scholar seeks to answer one or two legal propositions or questions. In non-doctrinal research, it involves number of questions and large area. It is a theoretical study. Non-doctrinal research involves empirical or field study. Doctrinal research is concerned with legal propositions. Non-doctrinal research is concerned with the social values and people. Mostly, secondary sources of data are used in doctrinal research. In the case of non-doctrinal research, primary sources of data are primarily used. Doctoral research, it does not require any training to collect first-hand data, but non-doctoral research requires special training, is required to involve new techniques for the collection of data. Doctrinal research is narrower in scope and non-doctrinal research is broader in scope. The major problems in legal research faced today are cultural problems, structural and procedural problems, lack of resources, incompetence, lack of networking, and at the laws, legal research is a systematic understanding of the law with a view of its advancement. The purpose of the same are very important to the people and the society because law acts within the society and they both had an impact on each other. Every kind of research method had its own value. However, while undertaking a researcher might face some hurdles, but they can be avoided by proper planning of the research process. Thank you.